So I got a preschooler at home. You often find yourself saying the same thing over and over again to a preschooler. Voters are faced with a ballot question about preschool that also seems pretty repetitive. Proposition II on your November ballot deals with money for universal pre-K. Politics guy Marshall Zellinger explains why you're being asked twice for the same money.
Universal preschool. Voters in 2020 approved a ballot issue that funded the program that started this year. When Proposition EE passed, taxes increased for cigarettes and other tobacco products, and Colorado created a new tax on nicotine products, like vape pens. That tax revenue pays for universal preschool. Proposition II on your ballot this year is related to that.
Proposition II, if approved, would allow the state to keep and spend $23.65 million in tax revenue.
Greg Sabetsky is the chief economist for Legislative Council staff. Basically, he does complicated math for lawmakers. Complicated math is why Proposition II is on your ballot.
It's the same taxes that voters approved in 2020 when they passed Proposition EE.
Sabetsky and Legislative Council staff provide the details that end up in the Blue Book. In 2020, that Blue Book underestimated how much nicotine taxes would generate in the first year.
We built an estimate that actually we thought was fairly conservative. It ended up being too low, and that's the reason for the excess.
And because the state took in more money than voters were told, $21.5 million more, the state cannot keep it, plus another $2 million in interest, unless voters say yes one more time. If voters say no, the money and the interest have to be refunded to cigarette, tobacco, and nicotine wholesalers, and the higher tax rate approved 3 years ago will have to be reduced 11.5% moving forward, so the state will stop collecting more than the voters were shown in that 2020 Blue Book.
Because the idea is, well, if we were off by 11.5% in year one, we'd also be off by 11.5% in year two and year three, etc.
Bottom line, a yes vote lets the state keep money voters previously said yes to in 2020. It's just more than the state expected. A no vote means the state cannot keep above what was estimated and will have to reduce the cigarette, tobacco, and nicotine tax moving forward.
So if the Blue Book is always an estimate anyway, why not provide voters a really high estimate just in case so they don't have to be asked the same thing twice for the same money, basically? Sabetsky told me their office is responsible for providing an accurate estimate, but if lawmakers, the ones who approve the Blue Book language before it gets printed, want to overinflate the numbers, that's a decision they could make.
Complete transparency, I said to Marshall while his story was running there, I don't know blank about this, but that's kind of the point. Like, there hasn't been a public conversation about Prop II, because we're in an off-year election and it's not even the most talked about thing on the ballot. So a lot of people are going to be going into it blind.
Yeah, and and this is why the confusion is, like, I thought I voted on this already. I found out there's at least one other time where voters were asked, hey, we underestimated something you already said yes to, so here it is again with the over, and that passed. This may be just the second time we've ever had to be asked something like this, and it seems just, move on.
Yeah.
But we got HH on the ballot, so that's huge.
Well, thank you for teaching me some blank about Prop II.